Research Institute.
Good evening. My name is Matilda Bisa from the Genetic Resources Research Institute.
Hello everyone, my name is Roberta. I work at NEST as a research and impact associate.
Hi everyone, my name is Mika Wood and I also work at NEST Africa under the Research and Impact Department. It's a pleasure being here with all of you.
Hi, my name is Ruby Asma. I'm with the Water Research Institute and I head the Fish and Aquaculture Division.
Hello everyone, my name is Johnson Singer. I'm from FCDO, British High Commission in Ghana.
Hi everybody, my name is Gamali Ajao. I'm with the Visa Fund.
Hello everyone, I'm Kel Akwando. I'm the Oracle Functional Consultant at Bait Control.
I'm Professor Estimate at Ghana Communications Technologies.
My name is Doris Convener from CSIR Animal Research Institute.
I'm Trinity Amantagom from CSIR.
My name is Ethel Blessy. I'm a research scientist at the Food Research Institute.
Hello, my name is Ekuya from CSIR Institute.
Hi, my name is Jenny Young, Director of Administration, CSR.
My name is Agnes from CSI Institute.
Hi, I'm Stacy from KMG Technologies.
Hello, I'm Tracy Saki. I'm with CSIR Institute.
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Abby Kinto, the HR for Heritors Labs.
Thank you so much. We have a lot of Heritors Labs officers here. They are so good and we applaud them for all the effort they put together. Yes, as I indicated earlier, I would like to also welcome you on behalf of the Honorable Minister for MESTI, all our agency heads, management and staff. And we are so happy to have all of you here, CSIR, people from different institutions, all working together for our country and making the world a better place. I would like to now request Mr. John Singer, FCWD office. Yes, sir. Yeah, please come up and then speak with us briefly. Thank you so much.
Good evening once again. The CEO of Heritors Lab, Mr. Deridin Dazi, Professor Marianne Quinn, Deputy Director CSIR, Professor Marian Asantua Nkansa, Department of Chemistry, KNUST. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again and thank you for coming. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this great meeting this evening. Women in Innovation and Research event organized by Heritors Lab and supported by our Reserve Fund. Kamil is also here. You are also welcome. I would like to express my gratitude to Heritors Lab for inviting me to give the opening remarks here and to celebrate the achievements that women in innovations, tech, and science are doing in this country. We know that female researchers face prejudice and barriers to advancement, not just their careers, but also their ideas. So, what do? The British High Commission earlier this year organized a Women in Tech event to mark the Gender Month and also explored the various policies targeted at supporting women in science, technology, and innovations. There were also discussions around how culture impacts women activities in research, science, technology, and innovations. We know that research topics that affect women, especially in agri, in business, health, and engendered effects of climate change, must receive the attention they deserve. The causes are complex and it is a global problem, and not just that of Ghana or the UK. I am very pleased that the Ghana's STI that has been reviewed, or is being reviewed, acknowledges these barriers and tries to address them. UK and Ghana have been having a long collaboration. The UK is doing so much in Ghana, and we have about 120 HMG partnerships in Ghana. We have about over 100 individual research partnerships in Ghana, and the government of UK funds over 100 pieces of individual researches. The diaspora in the UK has also probably hundreds of businesses and business linkages, and then partnerships in the technology space. I am pleased that we have established a research and innovation systems for Africa RISA fund to build the intellectual capital in target countries, provide access to funding. We acknowledge there's funding gaps in research, innovations, technology, and science. So, and also to diversify innovation and research talents. The RISA Fund also supports networking to facilitate productive relationships within nation research communities. I am pleased that Ghana is one of the 6 countries benefiting from the pilot stage of this fund, and Heritors Lab is one of the grantees. Research and innovation is at the heart of the UK, which is why earlier this year, we launched the FCDO's International Technology Strategy. In order to make this strategy work in Ghana, our High Commission is working hard with MESTI to develop and launch a joint UK-Ghana 5-year science strategy. We are doing consultations, and we have reached to some of you seated here to get your ideas into this 5-year strategy. We have adopted an inclusive approach, and our lead on the project have consulted so many of you here as well. Today's event is very important. Why? Because it gives us a chance to understand and address some of these barriers that we all know in the research ecosystem, a chance to forge new networks and partnerships. I am pleased this event is made possible with support from our RISA Fund, and is led by Gameli, who is here as well. I hope the event will go a long way to have an impact on how the society and even women, as you are seated here, how you appreciate the contributions that you make in the SCNI ecosystem. Through these discussions as well, I hope that we can better understand and support women in innovations, technology, research, and for them to succeed in their careers and everything that they do. On this note, I would like to thank everyone, and I look forward to hearing from all those of you assembled here, especially with the exciting discussions that we are coming to have this evening. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singri. Yes, so we would also like to acknowledge Heritors Lab, RISA, UK Aid, and CSIR. Please give it up to them for all their relentless efforts towards women in this regard. I would like to now invite Professor Marianne Asantuan Kansa, Associate Professor, Department of Chemistry, KNUST. Please give it up for her as she delivers the keynote address on leading innovations in Ghana, empowering many women-led and women-owned innovations in Ghana. Yes, do it better for her.
I have no doubt that everyone here identifies as lady or gentleman. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology where I work, and I'm very, very happy to be here and to be part of this gathering. In order to have the freedom to watch my slides as I present, those who need to take pictures, please do so right now. I'll move from here. Yeah, so I've been tasked to speak about what you see there, the theme, which is leading research and innovation in Ghana, empowering women-led, women-owned innovations in Ghana. So this will be my outline. I'll go through these, some opening remarks, which I think I've done, but I'll do parts of it. And then I will end with some concluding remarks. We all know that Ghana has everything that it takes to achieve the environment or the ecosystem that we all desire, where women will thrive and be creative and be innovative in their research and other aspects of life. We have our universities. Now we have so many private universities springing up in addition to the public, what I would call the traditional universities. And then the technical universities, we have CSIR with its various institutes. We even have some private entities also into research. We have those at the professional level, colleges of education, colleges of agriculture, colleges of nursing, and so on and so forth. And we have monitoring and evaluation regulatory agencies, and so on and so forth, intellectual property legislation, to guard this ecosystem which we all deserve. We even have a relatively good educational system. It's a go-to place on the continent, even with all our problems. Ghana is so a go-to place as far as good education is concerned. We have a stable political climate and a very vibrant private sector. So all these are indicators that we can thrive in this environment. We have MESTI, Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation, a ministry specifically set apart to oversee issues of science, technology, and innovation. We have National Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy. Those at MESTI will tell me the status of this policy. I'm not very sure where it is. And then, but we don't have many women-centered or women-specific interventions. And I think that is why we are here tonight. The population, why? Why do we need women-led, women-owned innovations and research initiatives? We do, because the population is made up of men and women. And if we have men and women, why should we focus or why should we rely only on the men? If you have two hands, why do you use one? You can use both. So that is the essence. It's not a battle or anything like that. If you have two of it, use all. And women come to the table with unique perspectives because we are wired differently from men. Women are meticulous, I want to believe so. Women are more emotionally intelligent. Girls mature faster than boys. Arguable? I don't think so. And women are also adaptable, I think. Women can easily adapt. We could take the situation of a married woman. A married woman can clone herself and adapt to the husband. It's not the same with men. So women are very adaptable. And we are resilient, I want to believe so. We can endure a lot of pain and long suffering. Women also have empathy generally. And women-led innovations, therefore, will improve the economies of their homes and then ultimately contribute to the economy of the nation. If women are not part, that fraction is lost. If women are well-to-do because they are part of wealth generation through innovation, through their research, they can take care of themselves in terms of their health. There's reduction in child mortality and all issues associated with women because they either lack the knowledge or the resources to thrive. Now, what are some of the barriers that are hindering women from achieving our thriving in research and innovation? Gender bias and stereotypes. We all know that as Ghanaians, the general perception, especially in science, technology, innovation, or even in research, no, you must be the secretary. And I've been mistaken for the secretary so many times in the room. And my supervisor is the boss and I'm the secretary. Whether I like it or not, I'm his secretary and I should know where he is when people come in and he's not in. And so on and so, are you sure you are doing chemistry or you're doing English? You cannot be a science. So the stereotypes are then that affects some women to thrive. Some, we are wired differently. Some don't have the tough skin to stand against some of the stereotypes. And sometimes even people who are supposed to know better, the educators and the leaders and the bosses in these spaces also have their own biases, even though they are up there and you expect them to know better. Comments and sometimes general comments can dampen the heart or the spirit of a young person, a budding scientist or researcher. And so these are there, and it affects, oh, you've done enough, you've done a master's, why do a PhD, you're a girl, and so on and so forth. And also, there are not many opportunities. And even if they are, there's no access. You don't have the requisite, the basis to grab these opportunities, especially when it's in a big pool for everyone to go grab. Some women might not have the necessary requirements to grab these opportunities in terms of funding and resources for thriving in this space. Lack of mentorship and networking opportunities. That is why I think this is very important. This gathering is very important. It's going to create an opportunity for mentorship and also for networking among those who are already in the professional space. And what are some of the strategies? So normally when I talk about problems, then I try to give solutions so that it's not all gloomy. We could promote gender equity and inclusion in STEM education. As a nation, I don't particularly know of a law that does that. Those in policy might educate us when it gets to the discussion session. But at the implementation level, I know a lot of institutions who make allowance for females by either reducing the cutoff point and so on and so forth. So girls or women can also get into these spaces. Provide mentorship and leadership. I cannot say that enough. And then training programs, because young women need to see people who look like them and who are holding their hands and who understand them. Men, personally, men have mentored me. Most of my mentors are male, but I think if you have someone who looks like you feel like they understand you more because they probably have gone through the things you have been through. So young women need mentors in order to thrive. And then the need to provide supportive policies and funding opportunities. We should be intentional as a people about the peculiarity of women and the need to create specific policies to address the needs of women so they can thrive. Fostering collaboration and networking platforms, I think I've said that already. Now I share some success stories. I don't have much time, so I'm hush, and then hopefully when we get to discussion, we can expand. Some success stories, Ghana has done well again, I would say so, but there's so much more we can do as a people. And so I'll showcase just a few of what some organizations have done as interventions of helping women to thrive, and also some individuals whose stories are worth sharing. So when I was doing my research, I came across Standard Chartered Women in Tech program. I think it's commendable. No matter how modest it is, they are trying to help women-led entrepreneurship teams with startups. And so in this year, they've had another one where 5 received seed funding of $10,000. But about 20 women were brought to the table for the training, and it was later that they selected 5. That's a good one that can be replicated around corporate Ghana. Others can take a cue and also help in that regard. There could be many. I'm just picking a few. I want to blow my own horn a little bit. KNUST, we have the Women in STEM Initiative Ghana. It started there, but we are growing outside KNUST. We have branches in other institutions. And the essence is to offer a platform for women to talk. So that's how it started. Women in STEM will just meet and talk. And from that has given birth to so many other initiatives. We have a newsletter. We have a girls' camp program that comes off every year, where we bring girls from high schools to stay on campus for 1 week. They go through skills, soft skills training, hands-on laboratory work, and so on and so forth. Last year, we expanded it to cover girls from outside the region, and we brought about 23 schools to campus, and 10 from each school, and they come with their teachers and science club, mentors, and so on and so forth. So we had over 250 people coming and participating in the girls' camp. We have corporate Ghana support, and the first one was, am I allowed to talk about it? So we have Vodafone sponsoring the first one, and then Stanbic also sponsored last year's edition. So again, an invitation to corporate Ghana to collaborate with academia and research so we can get women into these spaces. Women-led, women-owned research innovation. So these are individual stories. And I showed the 3 female vice chancellors of public universities. All our universities have a unit that is in charge of research, innovation. They have different names for it, but there is a unit for that. And these women are in charge of these big universities, driving the agenda, the research agenda of their universities. So I wanted to showcase them, that these are women we can look up to for the younger ones who have an interest. I don't see many young people, though, an interest in academia. These are people you could pick as role models. And corporate, I present this woman. I've known her as long as I can remember. A woman, homegrown business, running a homegrown business. So I decided to showcase her. Forever Clear. It's not very clear when she started, late 80s, early 90s, thereabouts. And she's been thriving up to date. She's trained so many young people. And now she's expanding her business. Now she has her children involved in the business. It's become a family business and it's thriving. And it's a good example for women who want to run their own businesses. The next one is Farida. What is unique about her is that she has a challenge, but she does not allow that cerebral palsy, allow that to be a limitation at all. She is a co-founder of a company, and she's also playing a key role, chief technical officer of that company. So again, I present her as a model that we can pick 1 or 2 things from. Now, future outlook, creation of a thriving ecosystem by encouraging collaboration among academia, industry, and government. We need this 3-tier kind of collaboration in order to consolidate the little gains made so far and then to build on that to into greater heights. We also need to strengthen partnerships with international organizations and institutions that have African women at heart. For example, the OWS, the Organization for Women in Science in the Developing World. UN Women sometimes have initiatives that sponsor women in tech, women in science. Africa Women, in our Greek Award, there's a Ghana chapter, we can also look at that, and many other initiatives that are women-centered, that are Africa-centered, but international in nature. And then there's also the need to advocate for policies to promote gender equity and women empowerment. We cannot say this enough. And proper implementation of already existing policies. So most of the time they are in our books, but when it comes to the implementation, the practice, then we are not so good at it. There's also the need to invest in research infrastructure and funding opportunities. As a nation, again, we cannot say this enough. We need a national research foundation. And in that foundation, every year I'm proposing that there should be a fraction that goes to women who are into research and innovation. There's a need to cultivate a culture of research and innovation among the young people. And that is why I presented the Girls' Camp with Wisdom model. In conclusion, I'd like to say that our current population stands at around 50-50 as far as our census is concerned. And therefore, if we neglect the 50.12, we are neglecting our own common good, intentionally or unintentionally, whatever it is. So let us go beyond the talk. I know this is a very serious gathering, and we don't do just talk. I think this is a good model that should be replicated all over the place. And on this note, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for your attention. Thank you to my Vice Chancellor. She gave me the permission to come to Heritors Lab and all the team members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Marian Asantewang-Kansa. That was a brilliant delivery. And I love the part that says you have to look out for little or young people. Okay, so it means that all of us, we are in sync with what Prof. Marian has said. And so we are so grateful to her once again. Please give that for her. Whilst we invite Dr. Trinity Tagbo, CSIR Institute of Industrial Research, Accra. Yes, please give that for her. She's one of my people, you know. Yes. Dr. Trinity, thank you so much. Yes.
My name is Trinity Amma Tagbo. I'm a senior research scientist with the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Institute of Industrial Research. And my research career started in CSIR BRRI, CSIR Building and Road Research Institute, in 1998, when I was employed as a research scientist. And since then, I have been involved in different research projects. Some of my research areas include termite control in buildings, secondary cementitious materials for construction, formulation of climate-smart cement, studies into groundwater, plastic waste as a transition material in construction. I also work on emulsion paints from local materials and the pozzolanic properties of some clays found in Ghana. For my termites work, I did a research on antitermitic properties and phytochemical screening of 8 local plants. And the result basically was that one of the plants was very efficacious and had and was promising as far as control of termites was concerned. And for that particular material, I did extractions, various extractions, and found out that the ethanol extract was the most efficacious, and it had components that could serve as a useful option for the control of subterranean termites in construction or in buildings. And the presence of glycosides in the ethanol extract was found. I hope I'm not being too scientific for you. So what it means is that I was able to isolate and identify some compounds in that. And so based on that, it could be used as a bait to control termites in housing or in buildings. Moving on, I also worked on plastics. And as we all know, plastics are durable. They have very unique properties. They are durable, they are strong, they are lightweight, they are water resistant, and relatively easy and inexpensive to manufacture and offer extensive benefits. But they pose considerable environmental and health problems due to large quantities that have been mismanaged over the years. Now, the challenge is actually expected to worsen, as several reports indicate a steady increase in annual global production of plastics. And recently, there are reports that if we go by the current growth rate, we are going to have about 33 billion tons of waste plastic by the year 2015. And then we have found out, or there are reports, that incorporation of plastics into construction and to use for construction ensures a more sustainable reuse, promotes circularity, and cleaner environment, among other benefits. So I started working with plastics, and these are some of the works I did with plastics. I combined plastic waste with sand to form mortar blocks and concrete blocks, and we use it for building a community, a toilet facility for a community school. It was also combined with sand to form pavement blocks. Again, plastic waste was used to coat aggregates to form plastic-coated aggregates and can be used for road construction. And also, plastic waste was used to replace some bitumen and also used for road construction. So this is just a picture of the aqua. Yes, this is the picture of the aqua privy toilet facility we constructed in Domia Bra in the Ashanti region. And it was funded by GRIPE. Now, when it comes to supplementary cementitious materials, you know, cement production is associated with exploitation of large quantities of natural resources. It is also comes with high energy use and emission of carbon dioxide. And we know that carbon dioxide contributes to about 5% global carbon footprint. And this causes air pollution, which has adverse effects on the environment and the climate. So to lessen the economic and environmental impact, some supplementary cementitious materials have been explored from local sources like limestone powder, fly ash, slag, silica fume, and pozzolan. In fact, some of these are industrial waste. And working with them, we have found out that some of these materials have been found to be very suitable and then at various optimum values to replace cement. And even that is not all. Sometimes, even when you use them more than, when you use it in ternary and quaternary blends, they have been found to be very, very good. Moving on, joining IIR, I joined a team which is led by Drs. Latifa Mohammed and Muntala Mohammed in working on a project funded by UNDP. And it involved the incorporation of palm kernel shell and waste plastic into asphalt mixes for pavement construction. And so far, we are obtaining very good results. And though the plastic and then the plastic mixed with palm kernel shell are performing well and could be used for pavement in schools, playgrounds, markets, and other areas, we have realized that the mixes containing only plastics perform better in most cases. I'm currently working on wood tar as wood preservative, and we are also trying to pilot the palm kernel shell plastic waste composition or composite in a field study and study the performance. I'm also working on waste glass modified concrete blocks. These are just a few of the things I'm working on. Just to touch a bit on the wood tar. The wood tar is actually a waste. It is obtained by the production of wood vinegar. Wood vinegar is also obtained from waste, wood waste, off carts and all that. What happens is when it goes through gasification and the gas is cooled down, it produces wood vinegar. And then the wood vinegar and the wood tar is a byproduct. Currently in Ghana, it is not used. So we are trying to see how we can use it as wood preservative, as it is being done in other countries. And I've already stated the fact that we are trying to pilot the palm kernel shell plastic waste composite in a field study and study the performance over a period of time. With the waste glass type, as we all know, we all use glass in our homes, and we've realized that they can also be used to replace portion of cement. And that is what we are working on. We've got some very good results. We are trying how we can improve the properties and even use other types of waste glass. In conclusion, I would like to say that my work as a research scientist has focused on development of construction materials from local available materials and materials in transition. And also, the output or the results achieved so far, if applied, would ensure circular economy and sustainable development and contribute to the achievement of SDGs 3, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13 directly and the others indirectly. I'm grateful for the following: Heritors Labs, UK8, RISA, and then, of course, my council for giving me the opportunity. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Trinity. We are very happy that you have shared with us what you've been up to all these years. It is so good and so heartwarming to find women who have done this job over the years and they have distinguished themselves in their various fields of endeavor. And for me, the highlight is the plastic issue, the plastic management that MEST is tackling now. And I'm pleased that we have somebody from our own CSIR helping us in this direction. And so we are grateful once again. You know, we are all here for a while, maybe an hour or less we can live here. And it is important that we get to actually connect with people. But we can do that later when we are doing the snack and then afterwards. But then again, I would like to do something. I'd like everyone to know who is who here. Today is a Friday, right? And so there's Monday, there's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so please, if you're Monday born, if you do not know your day born too, you can check and Google your date of birth on Google, and then you see which day you were born. Then we can do this brief exercise, and then we can all sit down again. Born today, yes. Efia, efua, mami efia, nane efia. Yes. Saturday, ama. Mami ama. Yes. Sunday, AC. Mami AC. Yes. So those who are sitting, when were you born? Midnight of when? Yes, those who are sitting, no. Is it that you don't know? I said you should Google. Yes. 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 So I'm giving everybody 30 seconds to just engage with the one beside them, both ways, where they are coming from, so that when we do the networking session, it will be so easy to connect and know what exactly we want to get from each other. Yes. Please, 30 seconds. So, yes. Oh, sorry. I did not acknowledge a gentleman. Please, all the gentlemen who stood up with us, we acknowledge you. Thank you so much. Yes, so thank you so much, Kweku, Kwesi, Kojo, Kwabna, Kuku, Kweku, Ato Kwame na Kwame. Yes, thank you all for rising with us in support of women in research and innovation. Yes, so please, yes, I can feel that you're enjoying yourselves, but we need to continue. So I would like to request you to take your seat as we invite Dr. Charlotte Odoye-Boah from CSIR Food Research, as she also joins us to share with us. Yes. Please give that for her. Please give it up for her. Yes. Dr. Charlotte Odoye-Boah, CSIR Food Research Institute, Accra.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Charlotte Odoye-Boah. I'm from CSIR Food Research Institute, and I'm a principal research scientist and the deputy director of CSIR Food Research. So as a form of introduction, I'll talk about what CSIR Food Research does and some R&D things we do, and I will veer into what I have done. Next slide. Okay, CSIR Food Research is one of the 13 institutes of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, and it was established in October 1963. And our vision is to become recognized as a national and international as an S&T institute that plays a key role in the transformation of the food processing industry. And our mission is to provide scientific and technological support to the growth of the food and agri sectors of the national economy. And our mandate is to conduct applied market-oriented research into problems of food processing and preservation, food safety, national food and nutrition security, food utilization, and food storage, marketing and distribution. And we do that under, we do research into the various commodities, R&D into cereals, grains, legume products, roots and tuber products, fruits, vegetables, spices, fish, meat, and dairy products. And we have a technology business incubation. Next one. So why innovation or why technologies? We know that the post-harvest losses in Ghana of most food commodities ranges from 5 to 40%. So there's a need to add value to our food commodities due to their perishability and seasonality, and also because of the high moisture content. So why do we have to add value? To increase the convenience, to increase diversity of the foods we have, expand our food access. You know, most of our foods are seasonal. So when it's out of season, it's expensive. So what do we do to it? We need to preserve, we do value addition to preserve the nutritional quality of food. We can add food rich with vitamins to foods which are carbohydrate based, and this helps to fortify and enrich the food. And we can do value addition to improve the flavor and texture of the food we have. And to reduce the food waste, we do value addition and produce sustainable alternatives to our food and ensure food safety and ensure shelf stability. So we have the composite flour technology where we could use composite flour from cereals, legumes, or root crops in the production of flour for baking, for bread, and other pastries. And under the MARC program, that's Modernizing Agriculture in Ghana, we train several women in processing these pastries in these localities, Bogosuho, Cape Coast, K2 South, and Ohoy, among others. So flour is made from these root crops and used to produce these pastries. The next one. So we also did value addition to OFSP. OFSP is orange flesh sweet potato. It's a sweet potato that contains vitamin A. Vitamin A, as we all know, is good for the eyesight. So we fortify gari. Gari is carbohydrate based. So the gari is produced and a portion of the OFSP is added to it. And it makes it more nutritious. And it is good for diabetes. It is served in some hospitals for diabetes because it's natural sugar. So and the OFSP also could be used in production of bread and other pastry, as you could see from the pictures. And it could be used in production of yogurt too. The picture there shows yogurt that has been produced using OFSP. Please go to the next one. This one is of importance to me, plantain. Currently, when you go to the market, plantain is very expensive. A bunch of plantain can cost as much as 140 cedis now. But come August, September, it will come very low. You can get a bunch for two. So what do we do about it? So post-harvest losses of plantain is of importance to us. So based on the problems under the same MARC program, CSR, FRI did this parable plantain chunks. That is plantain that has in parables. So just as we have the Irish potatoes we buy from that's imported, we have the plantain that's parable. Both plantain, oniaba, apentu, apem that has been parboiled and vacuum packed and frozen. It's a frozen product. So in that case, when you buy it, you just cook it for about 10 minutes and you are good to go. Your food is, so it's convenient. I have samples here which I can show to. Let's go to the next one. The next one. So we train some SMEs this June on this technology. These are pictures of the SMEs holding the product they produce. We train them on how to produce it. And our doors are open to train more people to take it up so that when plantain is out of season, I can go to a shop and buy plantain, and it's cheaper than going to buy a tuber and start the process and the convenience. Please go to the next one. The same technology exists from yams too, where yam is also produced in parable so that you go to the shop and get your yam and you cook it for a short period and then you are good to go. All these technologies are to help ensure that post-harvest losses are reduced. You know, currently mango is in season, watermelon is in season. You know the post-harvest loss that goes on. So what do? We have the technology for production of fruit juices, jams, marmalades from these fruits, and various trainings are done, and it's being done for people to uptake this technology so that when the fruits are out of season, you have some to take. And there's a food drying technology which I didn't show. We could also dry the fruits and use in condiments and other baking products. And we also work in fish, as I said. Fish. This is value-added fish products. That is fish sausage. We all know about chicken sausage, but this is fish sausage. Sausage that can be produced from fish. Both the small fish, both the tilapia can be used in the production of sausage. And these are pictures. And another one of interest is the Kobe in olive oil. Most of the Kobe we buy is full of formalin. If you want to reduce the sauce from Kobe and you soak it overnight, when you take it the next day, it's yellowish because the women tend to preserve it. Apart from the salt, they use formalin too. But this is Kobe that is convenience. It's in oil, and you have some ginger in it, you have garlic in it, and some pepper. So it's a convenience way of production of the fish. Let's go on. We have other innovative. We have several innovators. I just brought some. We have Hausa kuku that is ready to prepare. We have pancake mix, soya pancake pancake mix. That is pancake that's been enriched with soya. For those who don't want to, the plant-based soya. We have kose mix. Most of the kose at the roadside is oily. This is your own kose that you just mix it with water and fry using less oil. We have prekese, pellets, millet cereal. These are convenient forms of the cereals. Please go to the next one. We have also another technology for vegetable fried rice. This is fried rice that has been partially cooked, so it takes less time for you to cook. Then you are good. It contains all the vegetables. We have beefy jollof rice. Jollof rice contains the beef and everything, so you cook it briefly and you are good to go. And the almighty CSR prekese syrup is produced by CSR Wirc, but it's of interest, so I decided to bring it. The products from CSR Food Research are many. Convenient forms of plantain fufu. Ours is the organic one because we don't add any additions. It's pure plantain with cassava. We have the yam fufu, cocoa yam fufu, banku mix. The banku mix contains the agbilima and the fermented maize. Then you just prepare it and it's convenient. The cereal maize grates, fermented maize milk, cocoa tea, gari, aflatoxin-free peanuts. Most of the peanuts in the market are full of aflatoxins, and people even adulterate it with cocoa tea and what have you, but ours, you will enjoy it. We have the pancake, soya pancake, kose. Please go to the next one. We have training programs of all these technologies, 2 to 3 days technology, and this is a calendar of the training programs we have in the FRI. Please go to the next. Go to the next. So this is just to show the number of trainings we have done, the technology we have transferred to others, the 2022. Go to the next. That's all. Thank you. So I have some of the products here. You can try. There's some of the apim. You can cook it just for 5 minutes, and you can eat it with your contour or what have you. So when we are on research, you can have a look. You can even take one and go and try and call me.
Thank you, Doc. Yeah. Me, I've eaten a lot of all that she has said, so I'm testifying to you from Mesty. We are promoting our quality brands.
Thank you.
And I've enjoyed everything except these ones and the jollof.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, we have said that we are about to go for snack. But then again, we have also said that we are being supported by Heritors Lab, RISA, UK Aid, and my almighty CSIR. Yeah, so please give it up to all of them as we invite Mr. Derridin Dazi, CEO of Heritors Lab, to speak with us 1 minute. Then we will move through that door, do 10 minutes of snacking, and we come back quickly to continue with the panel discussion that will be moderated by Ohima Ejei Ando, with our very, very qualified and abled panelists here, Professor Mrs. Marianne Docas-Quain, Professor Marianne Asantuan Kansa, and Dr. Trinity Tagbo. Please, shall we give it up for the CEO of Heritors Lab, Mr. Derridin Dazi.
Thank you very much, Gloria, and I'm happy to see women, right? I wish there could be a better acronym that we can use to describe what the W, the O, and the M, and the E, and the N, with respect to the kind of great work that is being done and being championed by women. And I also like to thank all who have been able to gather here. And I see very esteemed, I mean, everybody's esteemed down there. Everybody's esteemed, but there's some levels, right? And we need to acknowledge those levels. I see the Deputy Director General, Professor Mrs. Marianne Docas-Quain of CSR here, and I would like to say thank you for gracing our occasion. I see also Professor Marianne Asantuan Kansa, who we have different relationship with. I'm happy to actually see her come to Accra from Kumasi to join us here. And these are people who are at the toppest level when it comes to the agenda. And I see Johnson from FCDO. Without Johnson, we will not be here. Where's Gamali? Okay. Yeah, yes. And then we have Gamali there too. These people, if we even cough wrongly here, tomorrow we might not come to another program again. Right, and for me, I'm very excited that we have this kind of endeavoring, and the setup is quite different today because we are focused more on showcasing and highlighting the output, the actions, and not necessarily the narrative. And we want to be able to capture them in such a way that we can come out with very good productions, or let's say very good visuals and videos that can be spread and socialized so easily to attract the right kinds of partnerships and investors to these kind of initiatives. The theme is breaking barriers, empowering women, and driving ownership, putting women at the core of research and innovation ecosystem. I know that women face a lot of barriers. I mean, just because they're even women, that is a barrier because of the mindset of society, the physiology, the perceptions of people, the cultures. These are all barriers that inhibit and impede the ability of women to hit their full potential when it comes to research and innovation. And what we want to do with the support of RISA is to generate the conditions and work with the people to ensure that these barriers, these perceptions can be shattered. I mean, if we can have, let's say, an atomic bomb in another way to destroy all these barriers, I would champion it. And that is the role that we want to play. Because if you look at the data, for example, they said the share of, UNESCO says, there's a 2021 report from UNESCO that says the share of female researchers as a percentage of total researchers in Ghana is 26.1%. And it's also below the global average of 33.8%. And we need to ask questions. How do we move the share upward? Is it just moving them in numbers or moving them with impact, moving them ensuring that the output actually get out there and make meaningful impact in society? I think one of the reasons why sometimes the work of women don't get recognized is not that the women are not doing the work, but they don't have the partners to push the work to the people. They don't have the support to ensure that these works manifest in tangible, usable, life-enriching product that can actually be used by people and mainstreamed. Because at the top, mainly, it is dominated by males. And I believe that one of the ways to do this is to invest in women, be deliberate about ensuring that scientific output that are led by women are given the needed boost in terms of support in any form, including especially money, and then policy to drive this women's action forward. And I believe that the other thing that we need to do is to break down some of these cultures and barriers that inhibit women. And we need to do this by going below just the university level, but starting from a very young age, ensuring that the very young women are also oriented to believe that, irrespective of their gender, they have the potential. And we should also create a condition to let them see that there are examples and there's a support ahead if just in case they decide to toe the scientific line. Right now, it's very difficult to prove to young women that these things exist. And we need to work it out and ensure that we can create a very viable pathway that will enable us put women at the center. And today I went to University of Ghana. I heard that for every one man is worth 10 women. I said, one woman is worth 10 men. So I'm hoping that the more we encourage women, we can have 10 times exponential impact in the outcomes when it comes to, or in scientific, and the impact of scientific and innovative outcomes in our society. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the rest of the event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CEO Heritors Lab, Mr. Deridin Dazi. We are so grateful to all our partners and all those who made this thing happen today. Please, we had said that we'll go through that door, spend 10 minutes, and come back. We acknowledge that we are the most disciplined people in society. The scientists, they are very accurate. So we look forward to encountering you all after 10 minutes, and then we can move on. We have said that we are going to have a panel discussion moderated by Ohima Ejay Ando, with our panelists being Professor Mrs. Marianne Dorcas-Quain, Professor Marianne Asantuan Kansa, and Dr. Trinity Tagbo. Please, when we come in, we're going to see them, we're going to hear them, and we're going to feel them. Please give it up for all of us whilst we get up to go through that door for the snack. Thank you so much. See you in 10 minutes.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Please, I believe we should all be seated now for this session. You wouldn't want to miss it. Okay. So I'm so excited to be here with these amazing women, and we are all going to learn from them today, and it's going to be exciting. So I want to start with Professor Dorcas Queen. What is research to you, and how did you get into this space?
Research is setting out to get to the bottom of an issue. So in research, you need to be consistent, you need to be focused, you need to have a series of data that you pick up, you analyze, so you would have you have to hypothesize what you want to investigate. Then you go ahead to get your data, analyze your data, check out what other people have done, and then discuss what you have done and indicate how much you have contributed to knowledge and development.
And how did you get into the research space?
I've been, growing up, I was very inquisitive, and I would like to get to the bottom of everything. When you buy a doll for me, the next moment the doll will be all apart. The hands will be off, the legs will be off, the hair will be off. So, and I carried it on. I wanted to actually, I wanted more to delve into issues. And I realized that I couldn't do that easily with human beings, so getting into medicine, I didn't want it. I realized plants were calm, they will stay, so I went into plant research. So that's why you find me here.
Okay, thank you. So, Prof. Nkansa, how do you think we can start? Okay, so we know that what we are doing here today, as much as it's going to benefit most people here, we are thinking about the younger ones, right? How we can get them in the space early. And I believe they have to understand it early, appreciate it, and then go on the same path. So how do you think we can incorporate this into their fundamental stage in school when it comes to research?
I would recommend that we take it from preschool, where there is usually no straight curriculum, and the children are just playing. Because in the field of play, a lot is discovered. And research answers questions. So research answers the what, how, when, where, how, and so on and so forth. So, and that is what children do when they are playing. They will go pick an item, come show, what is this? I saw that, and so on and so forth. So we can be intentional about it as a people by consciously designing activities that will tweak the minds of these young ones, even preschool, at the stage of preschool, so that ultimately they will grow up to appreciate what researchers do based on the things they discover themselves while playing, and then formalize it, and then hopefully we'll take up programs that will lead to research, and then they will be retained in the space as well, because then it's been part of their journey and it's not something very strange which they have to adapt to.
Thank you for that. So please, I really hope we or wish we had policymakers here, educators here, so that they could hear things from the horse's own mouth, right? So if we do have them here, please take notes. If we don't have them here, we have to make sure that the information that we share here reaches them as well, so that we can feel the impact that we want to feel. So last year, during the GESI conference, we had a SWOT analysis. And some of the strengths that were mentioned were intentional funding support for women in the STEM space, awareness creation, and policies to promote inclusion. So will you agree that there are equal funding opportunities that support women in research and innovation as compared to your male colleagues?
From the research institutions, we don't even get these days. But then I think there's that effort to actually reach out to ladies as well as men. But sometimes what happens is maybe whoever is in charge will prefer a man to go, maybe for one reason or the other. But as I said, it has improved now. I remember when I joined some time back, and I had an opportunity to further my studies. There was also a gentleman who was there. But then the two of us were called, and I was told, at the time, I didn't even know that was it. And I was told that there's this opportunity, the guy had to go and do further his studies abroad. And I even was supposed to do it with, at the time, it was tools. Yes, but then they would prefer the man to go. And I didn't say anything. I didn't even tell anyone. And but now I don't hear of those things. So it has improved. It has improved tremendously. Yeah.
So, Professor Queen, what do you think our women can do so that they can also get these opportunities? What do we have, like what control do we have over this? What can we do so that we can also get these opportunities?
We have to position ourselves strategically, because as much as they will look out for the man, you, the woman, you should be the first option that they will have. I mean, when they come and look through the system, they should see that she's on top of everything. So let's pick her. There are, we have to, and as systems, we have to be deliberate that we want equal numbers of men and women at the top, because we add flavor to it. I mean, we were looking up for the meaning of woman, and when I have the chance, I'll look it up. One of this is the woes of a man.
Okay, you mentioned they have to be deliberate, right? You are at the top now, so just share a few apple that we can take away.
Okay, so with the CSR, currently we have a gender policy. One thing I really like in the policy is having a baby-friendly system, so having a creche for the women. We are also looking at ensuring that when we are recruiting, there's a percentage allocated for women, so that we increase the number of women in the system. At the time that I joined, I think the women percentage was about 13%, but now it's at 25%, which means it has really improved. And I'm also looking at the women at the top. If you come to the head office, the Director General, when he meets, he says he's at the women's meeting. Because I'm a woman, the Director of Administration is a woman, the Director of Audits is a woman. So that deliberate effort has come, we are seeing the fruits of that deliberate effort. So at the CSR also, currently we are developing even the research policy. And within the research policy, there's the gender mainstreaming chapter, which is paying attention to ensuring that with research teams, there are females on the gender equality on our research teams.
Thank you. So I'm going to go to Prof. Nkansa. What role can academic institutions and the industry, government also play in creating sustainable pathways for our women in research and innovation?
I will start with government. So I propose that government drives the agenda. So policy, government should lead a policy direction, and then policy should come with support, should come with the necessary tools that we need to drive the agenda of the policy. So funding, government should lead that agenda of policy and funding. industry can support what government does with funding and then implementation of the output from research. Universities can be, again, deliberate about the kind of research they do, and then there should be specific targets set to make sure women are included in these research. So, for example, we don't have a peculiar one, we have a gender policy at KNUST, but we don't have a peculiar document for women in research per se. But I'll invoke one example that I think is working for us that can be replicated for women. This is for students with disability. So the MasterCard Foundation, which we have at KNUST, has a fraction or a percentage that should go to persons with disability. So even when a new crop of first years come and they have not satisfied the numbers, they go looking. So some students with disability could come to first year, they don't even know that the MasterCard Foundation exists. The Directorate for the Administration of the MasterCard Foundation goes to look for these students so they can make up for the quota that they themselves have set up for themselves. So I see universities also being able to replicate some of these policies where we are very, very intentional that for every move, for every appointment, for every cohort of researchers, there should be representation across the divide. And then when research outputs comes out, that's where industry will partner to make sure these findings are transformed into businesses and then products that can be absorbed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to talk about representation. Today, we've seen a lot of the things you're doing at CSIR, like amazing things. But these are not things we see like on the outside, right? Most of the time when we talk about women in the STEM space, we see the talks on mining, we see talks on engineering. We hardly see lights being thrown on our ladies, our women doing amazing. The only person I knew was Dr. Von Kitty. She's the only one I know at CSIR, right? But you're doing great work. And I believe when others see this, they would also know that we can do this. How can we throw light on all the work that you're doing there? We want to show representation out there. We want to show the young ones that it's possible for them to do it too. So, Prof, how do you think? I'm going to, with this question, everyone is going to answer yes. I'll start with you, Prof.
Yeah, so I'll start by saying with CSI, in fact, visibility is an issue. That has been one of my vision as a Deputy Director General. I've been talking of having a YouTube channel where we'll showcase our innovations and research outputs to attract the public and investment. So that is one area that's partnering with Heritors Lab. They indicated that these are areas that they are interested in because there's a lot we have developed that we want to go to the industry. Of course, we develop these in partnership with industry players, but to scale it up and scale out, we need more visibility. So this visibility would help showcase what the women out there are doing.
So I'm sure by the end of the year, we'll be seeing things from CSIR, right?
Yes, so to add to what Prof has already mentioned, we as an institute are on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and all that. Our works and our innovations and all that are there. So again, I think we can be more impactful when we do more of these programs where we meet and share with people the kind of things we do. And there are other things we can do, but time will not allow me to say all.
Yes. I think generally women don't want to be the center of attention. That is one. Two, scientists don't want to be the center of attention. So being a woman and a scientist, you don't want to be the center of attention. That could be the reason why you don't see a lot of women being projected. Because there's been occasions where the press will approach people for interviews and they say, no, I don't want to be out there. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. So it's not entirely the fault of our institutions that some of the achievements of women are not out there. But then again, being conscious about the fact that this is something wrong and we need to tell these stories. As far as KNUST is concerned, we have a number of YouTube channels, if I should use social media. The main university social media channels are there. Women in STEM, we have our social media channels, and we showcase, we profile our members every now and then. I lead the Young Researchers Forum, which works under the Office of the Vice Chancellor. And also over there, we make sure we project our members on social media. So those who are on social media, I'm sure you'll come across some of our profiles and our posts. Apart from that, the Office of Grants and Research, which is the lead as far as research and innovation is concerned at KNUST, has also started a very vibrant outreach. And so they're all over the place on social media with short videos and interviews and projects that are going on at the various units of the university. It's, again, not deliberately showcasing women, but the overall output of the university. What we may have to do if, at the end of this gathering, we want to issue a communique of sort, is to encourage our fellow women to open ourselves up to be used as role models for others and to tell our story. I think as a people, Ghanaians and Africans, you know, you are labeled if you like to talk about yourself, is that not so? So I think that is also always at the back of the minds of many people, and that's why they will shy away from telling their stories. But if you're telling your story and it's the truth and it's going to change the world, please tell it. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to briefly add that for my office too, we are looking at having a very robust database online of all our researchers. So then if you want to Google for a female scientist in such and such an area, it will pop up. So I'm still looking at Heritors Lab to help us get through all these initiatives. Yeah.
Okay, so I think for us here, what we can take home is we have to shine our lights, right? And we have to know that now this journey is beyond us. It's for the younger ones coming as well. They have to know that it's possible. And they can't know if we are hiding in our homes. This is not being too known. This is something you are actually doing. You are putting in the work, so you deserve all the acknowledgements that you get. So we should know that we are not doing it for us. It's for the younger ones coming up. Thank you very much. I just want to hear our last words before we end this session. And then we will take just two questions. Then we move on.
I would say that with research innovation is critical for us as a nation to progress. We are looking at import substitution and all that, and these are issues that women, we will contribute better to it. As such initiatives as we are having here, if we have brainstorming sessions, I'm sure there's something you are doing that you don't even think is an innovation. But around at a round table with the brainstorming sessions, we can identify more innovations and look at how we can channel and seek the right source of funding. I was at a meeting where I had to share a problem and a solution I have. The one person to my right wanted could give the solution to my problem, and I could give the solutions to somebody's problem. So if I hadn't been at that meeting, I would have gone, and since then we are running projects. So such initiatives, such times of brainstorming and thinking out of the box can help us improve and progress with innovations and research. Thank you.
So we have to learn how to collaborate with like-minded people as well. Thank you.
I would like to say that more of these programs should keep coming. It's not like this is the only time that we will meet, and then maybe next year the same thing will happen again, but there should be improvement. Are we going to get more people? Are we going to go in other directions so that we'll build up on whatever is being done now? Amen.
Thank you.
I will end on the note of mentorship. Mentorship is very important to me because I am here because I have benefited from mentors. And so I'm proposing for this gathering and then beyond that there should be a database of all people in this space, research, STEM. And from this database, we could be intentional and have a structured mentorship program. And in this structured mentorship, we have specific deliverables that can be measured. And then at the end of every season of mentorship, we can actually take stock and see and measure what we've achieved. If we're able to do this for the next 10 years, I'm seeing a huge explosion of women, young girls transforming into women in this space, doing beyond what we have been able to achieve.
Thank you so much. So if you can have 2 questions or any contribution as well. Any question or any contribution?
Prof. Nkansa, you just mentioned mentorship. And is mentorship enough? Just mentorship as in holding hands, holding a young person's hand. Is it enough? Do we need to do more, especially when it comes to research? So let's say a young researcher and you are mentoring the person. It's just being the mentor.
So
enough?
mentors, if I should share a few of the things that mentors have done for me, then we would decide whether it's useful or not, or whether it's enough. Of course, the individual will have to be interested. You need to be interested in what is happening. You need to value that relationship, that opportunity that you are getting. You should put premium on that. You need to even know what it is you want from this kind of association with the mentor-mentee relationship. Do you want that person to help you in sharpening your leadership skills? So personally, I practice what I call the cocktail mentorship. I don't do too much attachment to one person. I am loyal, but no, not too much. You cannot hold me down. I have to fly. So if it's leadership, I know where I'm going to. I know the person I go to when I need to make some serious, wild decisions. And if it's about being a female and going through challenges, I know where to go to. If it's about my research, I know the person I'm going to. So I will propose that if you want to adopt that, but it's not easy because some mentors do attachments. They don't even want you to go to the next door. So again, it's not that simple as I say it, but you will have to develop a tough skin and also be honest with your mentor that, yes, I appreciate you, but I don't go there to talk about you, because sometimes there are issues among the senior people and they think you probably went there to talk. Meanwhile, you are only minding your business. So being very upfront about it helps, because I know colleagues of mine who have become automatic enemies of some people because their bosses don't get along with them. You should not find yourself, please, in that space. If you happen to find yourself there, liberate yourself from there. It's not a good place to be. And be honest to your boss and say, please, you might have issues with this person, but I know he has this equipment and I need it, so I'm going to use it. So with that, I think you benefit immensely. But if you become a victim and allow your boss's enemies to become yours, they'll retire and then you inherit the enemies. And you're going to create your own enemies anyway along the way, so you have multiplication of enemies. You don't want that. So that is what I would say. But I think mentorship is key. Apart from your individual, your personal passion, you need someone to tell you where the money is. You need someone to add you to the team when you don't know how to write a proposal. You need someone to show you the way. I think it makes the journey more tiresome and sometimes shorter than if, it doesn't mean you cannot do it on your own. You can, but if you have mentorship, you avoid some of the potholes and the pitfalls, and then the journey is more enjoyable, and then you achieve a lot within a shorter time than if you had weathered the storms on your own. I hope I have answered you.
To a large extent, yeah.
Thank you very much. My question goes to Professor Queen. I was glad when you said when you were young, you used to dismantle your dolls and your toys. Were you not scolded by your parents? I'm not done. Okay. Okay. I'm asking this because in our family setting, our cultural setting, they will say we earn some money. So they will encourage you because if you want your child to be an engineer, you need to buy them toys and then car toys for them to dismantle and assemble when they are children. We don't wait and leave all the job to the policymakers and government. We need to nurture the children right from the word go. So I remember when I was a little girl, my mom was a midwife. I used to rip her zip whenever he gave her uniform for me to iron. And they would say, we have some money, we have some money. My father would say, leave her, maybe she'll be a fashion designer or something. So I think we should encourage our children. We shouldn't leave the job to the policymakers and government alone. Right from the word go, parents have a big job to do. Thank you.
I think it's more of a contribution. So we have, they know that my door will get spoiled within a day. So that was allowed. Thank you.
Okay, please, I want to ask about balance. Women researchers and balance in other aspects of their lives. So I think I'm in my 3rd year of being into the research space. And then you will have your dreams. Your family will also have their dreams for you. And they'll be asking about family. So particularly relating to balancing family life and then your work as researchers, how has it been so far? And how have you been able to make it to this point? Thank you.
Thank you. Since I have the mic, I'll start. Your family buying into your objective is critical. If you are not married, please, before you marry, make sure that your partner, your spouse, buys into your career path. Because I can boast of having had the support of my family. My husband, he's been pushy, making sure I excel. My family, my mom, my siblings, everyone is there for me. So if you don't have that support, it will be tough. So please make sure you have that buy-in from your families and find ways of engaging with them and discussing with them to come along with you, because it can be a very tough journey. If you don't get the buy-in from your family, it will be tough. So just get them to, and you can always coax them into it.
So just to add to that, time management is also very important. I can say that I've had a lot of drawbacks because of family balance, because I happen to marry someone who is equally, even more busier than I am. So I am always the person to stay with family. So I have had to do a lot of sacrifice, but I mean, it hasn't been very bad. So time management is key. Thank you.
I am not married and I don't have children. So my story is different. And it's not because I chose to be a scientist that has deprived me from that. It's more of a personal preference. But then I have my siblings, and then my parents are still alive. So I have that support system. And they have been very supportive. They're my top cheerleaders. So they know I'm here, for example. But as an African woman, you are not only responsible to your husband and your children. When your parents are aging, it's a matter of default that you should be the ones being responsible for them and not your brothers. I don't know if any of you has that. And if you earning money, then it's also your money. I think traditionally the women took care, but it wasn't their money. But now it's your money and your time. So again, the element of balance is very important. Apportioning your, doing your to-do list in order not to go crazy when you have to do the hospital appointments and still do your office work, and then the lab work and student supervision and teaching and so on. I think society demands a lot from women. And this is something we should all know, so that you are not too surprised when they start coming. Society really demands a lot, particularly from the African woman. Even among your colleagues, you are supposed to be the one making tea. And if you refuse, then you are too difficult, Even though you are all researchers, you've all earned your PhD, somehow you should be making tea for the guys. And if you don't, there's a problem with you. And if you do it too, and one day you cannot do it, then it becomes like a demand. Why haven't you done it today? So just be aware of these things. Don't fight them. Personally, I laugh about a lot of things. It's not a battle. Else, your whole life, you become bitter. If you see it as a battle, you end up becoming bitter, and your life will not be sweet for others to want to be like you. So being aware that these things exist prepares you for them, and therefore when they happen, you just smile because, anyway, I knew anyway. I said it, see, and you're not too surprised. And then life goes on. So that's what I would say.
I'll briefly add that get a robust research team to be part of, so that they can pull you along when you are slacking. And the other thing is find something else, other things to do, which will distress you when you are stressed. I used to sing in a choir until recently. Then I decided to join the prayer team. So now I'm praying. Thank you.
Okay, please, we'll take the last question.
Thank you. I think it's more of a, I don't know whether it's a question, but we've been talking about mentorship a lot, but I didn't see a number of the young scientists here. There are a lot of young people in our institutions, but I'm not seeing them here. So I don't know how the invitations were done. So maybe next time, let's be mindful of it and remember to bring in the younger ones, because they would also benefit a lot from it. And I think I like something that Prof. Quinn said, where she's like, you're the go-to person, because now most of the funding agencies are looking for gender balance when it comes to applying for research funding. So if we position ourselves strategically, the men can't do without us. So let's be mindful of that and make sure that when they need to get their things through, they would need us, and we'll be the ones to be called upon. So that's what I just wanted to add. Thank you.
So thank you all so much. I believe we've learned a lot, and we are actually going to implement some of the things that we have learned here. We are also going to teach other people about it as well. As I said, it's not about us. It's about the younger ones coming up. So whatever you've learned here today, please do well to share. And those who have to hear what have been said here today, we have to make sure that they hear it, so that we can see all the improvements the next time that we meet. God bless you all, and have an amazing evening.